How would you characterize your conversations with President Biden as Ian approaches?
So I have not personally spoken with the president, but the FEMA has approved our pre-landfall request. We've had Gracia here really since the weekend. Gracia's been here; she's always around here, and so we feel like we have a good relationship with FEMA. I'm happy to brief the president if he's interested in hearing what we're doing in Florida. My view on all this is you got people's lives at stake, you got their property at stake, and we don't have time for pettiness. We got to work together to make sure we're doing the best job for them. So my phone line is open, and we're happy. But we do appreciate the quick approval of the pre-landfall declaration.
As you've spoken to the governor of the state, why hasn't the president yet, or is there a scheduled call for the two men to speak, obviously, as they're the preeminent leaders of the country and of that state?
I do have concerns about complacency. We're talking about impacts in a part of Florida that hasn't seen a major direct impact in nearly 100 years. There's also parts of Florida where there's a lot of new residents that have never experienced this type of threat. So my message to them is still take this very seriously, listen to your local officials, and those Floridians that have been through this before, help your neighbors that may have not had to go through this. Heeding the advice of your local officials is the most important. And as far as the conversation, the president directed me to contact the governor early on before we even did the declaration. I did that. My regional administrator is with the governor right now, making sure that we're understanding what the needs are, and our focus is on the current life safety needs that need to be met.
Can you describe just the level of communication with state officials, and have there been anything unusual or any challenges with that? How would you describe it?
Yeah, I think the communication that we have had with the state officials has been excellent. My regional administrator out of Region 4, Gracia Check, she is in Florida. She got there yesterday. She has been embedded at the state AOC, working with the state emergency management director one-on-one to make sure we're understanding what their needs are. Again, she's traveling with the governor to a few areas today to make sure we're understanding what those needs. We've had a long relationship with Florida. Our Region 4 has had a great partnership with all of the emergency management team there. They've done a lot of work with the different municipalities and the counties, and I think the relationship is very strong.
I just want to return to what Peter had asked about Governor DeSantis. In the past, President Biden, has made calls to governors in situations of natural disasters. Kay Ivey in Alabama, or Asa Hutchinson in Arkansas, or the governor in Texas. Is there any? Can you articulate, I guess, how those determinations are made and why it hasn't been made in this case to have the president call the governor?
Yeah, the president is very focused on making sure that the federal family has the right resources available to support this. That is why I contacted the governor right away, and we have a team of my senior leadership that are embedded with the governor to make sure that we're supporting that. Our focus today is making sure that we have the right measures in place to support the life-saving activities that need to happen. Any conversations afterwards will need to be, we need to see what the damages are.
But he's made conversations with the mayors, so is there any reason why not the governor?
Again, we have a strong team that's in place supporting the governor right now, working side by side with him and his staff. We'll continue to stay engaged with him.
Yeah, thanks. Just a follow-up to that. Normally, presidents call governors or the governors call presidents, but the only thing that really, during hurricanes, the only real question I really want answered is it in any way the fact that they haven't talked? Is there any way that it's impeded efforts for the federal government or FEMA to implement plans in Florida? And if so, what would they be?
No, we are very focused on what the needs of Florida is right now. We do not bring politics into our ability to respond to these disasters. We are going to support whatever Governor DeSantis asks of us. We signed his emergency declaration within hours of him sending it in. We'll continue to do that as we see what the impacts of this storm are.
So the communication between the president and the governor has no impact on how you all operate?
Zero.